Hey everybody, welcome to Campus Comics Cast, coming to you from Carbondale, Illinois, with special guests from the Campus Comics crew. And now, here's your host, the man with the previews in hand, Mike No.
All right, well, greetings everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Campus Comics Cast, coming to you from inside Campus Comics in the heart of Carbondale, Illinois. We're going to be going through our usual trip through the previews catalog this month. Just to give you the heads up on this, with February being a shorter month, cutoff actually seems to be a little later, but anything in this catalog, I have to have the orders in by March the 2nd. So if there's anything in here that catches your ear, or if you come in and pick up your own previews, if there's stuff that you're interested in, that's the date I need to know about it by so I can get that order in. Like I said, I'm getting ready to go through the previews catalog again for February of 2018, and help me do that this month are
Scott Reed and Dan Brown.
And we are short one person tonight. Tyler Wright, who's been with us for the last few months, is not able to join us again. They just keep, I guess us three are hard to work with or something. I don't know. You know, we're the standards and everybody else just keeps switching out. So we're going to be holding some open auditions for another seat on the on the podcast. So if you're interested, just let us know.
And have a good radio voice.
That's right. Yeah. Got to sound at least as good as us.
Which would not be hard to do.
But anyway, let's get right into it. And Dan, I think you said you had you want to talk about the free comic book day stuff?
Yeah, there's some more stuff in here this month. Again, this event's not till May, but they're already putting some books in here. There's been some news, I guess, with the DC stuff, where we had the notorious blank covers for Marvel and DC this year. So there's rumors that DC are going to do some reprint issues for Free Comic Book Day, which they've done before in the past. But apparently earlier that week, like that Wednesday, they're going to release a DC Nation sampler, I think they're calling it, which is like previews of more upcoming works, which would really be what you'd want to come out on Free Comic Book Day. I'm not sure why they're doing it that Wednesday before.
Right.
Maybe trying to get a jump on it, but
yeah,
that
maybe
seems awkward.
Yeah, seems a little weird.
But so, you know, we have a little more insight on what's going on with that from DC. There's also here in Image Comics, there's Barrier Number 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin, who are a really good creative team. They did the online series, The Private Eye, which I've read maybe about half of, but I really like that. I need to finish it someday. But it looks like this is the first issue of their new series, and they're giving it away on Free Comic Book Day. And it says it's a 53-page issue, so
wow.
Definitely one to pick up, because that's probably going to be a good book, and you can't beat the price for that. Titan Comics, there's also been some development with that, where they've got Doctor Who number 0 is their Free Comic Book Day offering, and it sounds like they're sort of revamping or rebooting their Doctor Who line of comics. So that's something I've kind of been on the fence about picking up now and then, but it just seems impenetrable with all the series.
Mm-hmm.
They run multiple series of the different Doctors. So I would assume this is meant to be more of a jumping on point. So if you want to get into some Doctor Who comics.
I would expect that to have been for the new Doctor, but...
Yeah.
Well, I think they are mentioning that she might be in this one. I don't know if it says here in this listing, but I thought I heard that somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it does say first look at the 13th Doctor in comics. So,
gotcha.
Yep.
Interesting.
Some of that. I think that's all I've got for the Free Comic Book Day listings.
Yeah, we're going to be a gold sponsor for Free Comic Book Day, and really all that means is there's one level of books that to qualify for that, you've got to order like 25 copies of these basic core books. But there's a lot of stuff being offered, and as far as when I was looking through the order form, as far as I could tell, those other free books in there, there's really no minimum to order to get those. So you may want to stop in, pick up a previews, or just look at ours, see if there's something you'd be interested in, because I may be able to pick up just a few copies of these lesser, smaller publisher books like that.
And it's free.
It's
What's it gonna
free.
hurt? Even if you don't like it, but whatever.
Whatever. I gave it a shot. So, yeah, you may want to check out what all's coming out, and maybe I can hook you up.
Yeah, there's always a few good books, though, like just Bongo Comics, their
Yeah.
Simpsons Free Comic Book Day thing is always a good read. Mm-hmm.
Now, Mike won't say this, but I'm going to say it, is one thing to remember that the free comic books are free to you, but they're not free to Mike. So be sure you look around the shop when you come in and try to think about picking up something else while you're here. So that would be terrific.
Yeah, and Mike will have some more stuff going on in the store.
Oh, yeah, I know for sure. I've already confirmed one of the more popular local artists to be here, Justin Holman. So we've locked that down. He's going to be here. And, stuff comes up. We'll let you know what's going on, but Justin's going to be here.
Yeah, and, we've got a lot of, dollar comics here, too, so spend a dollar. Come on. What's it going to hurt?
Spend a buck.
I just pulled about 15, 20 books out of the dollar boxes tonight myself.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we want to start on Dark Horse?
Yeah, I guess we're good.
I think we all want to talk about the first big thing in here.
Yeah,
page
I
46.
think we got it all marked.
Yeah, Xerxes, another Frank Miller book in the 300 line, so definitely something if you enjoyed 300, there was two 300 series, right?
There was the first one, and then there was the one that I thought had started in Dark Horse Presents.
Okay.
Which I'm wondering is this that? Because I know that was supposed to be Xerxes. Did that never continue?
Oh.
And then is this
Just
the actual finished
that
version?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I was wondering because with Frank Miller writing and drawing, and I don't know about how fast he can produce books now.
Right.
That was a little bit of a concern for me.
I know the sequel was supposed to be in one of the Dark Horse Presents runs a couple years ago. I don't believe it ever got finished. Don't hold me to that.
Huh.
But I'm wondering if that's what this here is, and maybe this will be the finished version. I couldn't really find anything in the listing about it.
Right.
No, there's nothing in the listing
Flipping
about
through
that.
the pages, they have a couple preview pages here though, and it looks tighter than some of Miller's current
Yeah, I
work
see
that
what
he's
you're
done
saying.
lately.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it might be a little older, or maybe
might
it
be.
is just tighter work, because it's 300.
Right.
But
I'm just looking at the credits there. I mean, Varley, why is Lynn not doing this? You know what I mean? I know
they're divorced.
I know, but I know they've done some stuff after that, though. I mean,
I like Alex Sinclair is a good color,
Right.
so I do like his work.
Right. I mean, I was aware of that. I just didn't know they had worked, fairly
Right.
recently together.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised to not see her name on it.
Page 50 got another Black Hammer series, Black Hammer Age of Doom #1. I did finally read the first Black Hammer trade. I didn't really care that much for it, but I know there's a lot of people who like it, so it'd be a good first book to pick up for someone who enjoys that Black Hammer universe.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys thought about it.
I mean, I read the first probably trade's worth, and I liked it. I liked it, but I think we might have talked about this last time. It's just like Jeff Lemire just seems to be one of those writers right now that's kind of bulletproof. Whatever he's doing, people are picking up and enjoying. So far so good for him. So.
Anything else?
Or
for Dark
Lemire,
Horse?
Lemire.
On
Lemire,
page
yeah.
56 here, we have Dave McKean short films hardcover.
Oh wow, I didn't even know. I missed that.
And so it looks like it's some short films that he has made, and I guess it includes a Blu-ray of the films
that's cool.
with a hardcover book, featuring his artwork. So if you want to check some of those out, this looks like it's got a few different ones in here.
Now he was the artist on Arkham Asylum, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why we want to make sure.
A lot of cover art on Sandman and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. That real multimedia looking kind of stuff. Crazy.
Yeah. And on page 64, we have Go Team Venture, the art and making of the Venture Brothers. I think this is a companion book to the Venture Brothers art book that they've done previously. Looks like this has some more artwork and then some more kind of behind-the-scenes looks of the show. And it looks like the forward's by Patton Oswalt, so that might be a fun book to check out. I don't really have anything to say about these books, but we've got some Usagi Yojimbo this month. And I've just heard, I guess they're optioning it for a cartoon show.
Oh,
Oh,
They're going to
really?
be doing a Usagi cartoon. It's like he's been on Turtles a few times over the years. It's like,
that's like it's long overdue.
yeah, it
for
seems
him
like
to
really
get
that,
a
does.
that
cartoon.
should have happened.
Yeah.
Or like a Netflix show or something. I don't know.
Something, yeah.
You figure there would have been some Usagi Yojimbo deals made before now.
All right.
Anything
I
else
got to
in
do
Dark
it for Dark Horse.
On to DC.
Yep. On to DC. So
Well,
looking at page
Yeah,
83,
think so.
I guess.
It's kind of the big news.
you guys are bigger DC me than I am, so I'll let you guys go with this one.
So we've got Action Comics number 1000, 80 years in the making.
Right. Exactly.
That's not hyperbole.
Nope.
Nope.
That is literal. What I think is kind of interesting, first off, is we just have this sort of Jim Lee Superman with a white background, when I'm pretty sure I've seen a finished version of this cover online a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
With like the Daily Planet behind him and stuff, so I'm not sure why that's listed like that in here. But we've got a list of the creators working on this book.
So
and,
out of this list of creators, which ones excite you the most? For me, the one that jumped out at me was Jim Steranko. Has Jim Steranko done much work at DC in the past?
not much here and there.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have
I think
a
he's
lot
done
of work
some
at
pinups
Marvel
and stuff like that.
Okay, so that was kind of a surprise to see his name on that list for for the 1970s variant cover. And then of course Jose Luis Garcia Lopez is a pretty good name to see.
He does a lot of merchandising art and stuff now. It's nice to see him doing an actual interior of a book now and then. I mean, of course, the big thing is Bendis.
Bendis, yeah.
Right.
And there's been a lot of news about that now too. This is coming to DC.
This doesn't say anything about it was the other, like the hardcover companion that had the Siegel and Schuster story in it, wasn't it?
Do we want to get into that?
I know, right?
Again,
they really seems like they didn't know what to do with this. You know what I mean? Between the hardcover and being kind of wanting to be, I don't know, progressive, whatever you call it with that. But now they've kind of backed off on that, and that's no longer going to be called Action Comics 1000, right?
Yeah, it's
the hardcover.
Like Superman 80th anniversary or Action 80th
the
anniversary,
celebration
or something
of
like
30
that.
years or something like that.
So it's technically not Action 1000 hardcover anymore.
Right. It's still coming out, but like the actual issue, which is what is in this month's catalog, which is Action 1000. Is going to be a story that's not included in the hardcover? Is that
none of the content in the monthly Action Comics 1000 will now be in the hardcover? Okay. Hence the name change.
Right.
So who knows what else is going on with this book?
So if you want all the content that will be available with all this, you'll have to have both.
Have to have both.
Right. Yeah. So there you go.
I do like the idea of all the variant covers for all the decades.
Mm-hmm.
So
and those are open order.
Yes.
On those.
Yeah.
So if you want to get one.
So if you really want the Mike Allred 1960s or the Steve Rude 1930s or the Dave Gibbons 1950s,
I don't do this very often. I kind of feel like I want all of them.
I know, right?
And it's an $8 price point on this issue too. It's up there, but it's a 80-page book, no ads, so it's no filler necessarily with that.
I definitely plan to pick up more than one of the covers myself.
For sure.
So,
but I really want to see these Steve Rude doing a 30 Superman cover. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Michael Cho, all these are great artists. I feel like, I don't know, Joshua Middleton doing the 80s, but then Dan Jurgens doing the 90s. It's like I understand Jurgens had the bigger run in the 90s, but I kind of would, out of this list, maybe. But again, nobody asked us.
Right.
My next thing's not till 102, so.
On 87, we've got the Terrifics. And I just got to thinking, looking at this, I'm a little behind. I don't think I've read the last issue of Metal yet, but I'm still kind of curious as to how we get from Egg Plastic Man to him running around monthly in the Terrifics now.
Yeah.
As far as these new age of DC hero books are going, I think the Silencer has come out, right? First issue of that. Is that the first one?
No, Damage.
Damage
came out. Yeah, it came out and is gone now. Okay. But the Silencer, I think that's all of them that we've seen so far.
Okay, and I heard like Jim Lee's Immortal Man got pushed back again.
Wow.
Yep.
So
I think April 11th or something like that. I was just looking at that. It's the date that they're saying now for Immortal Man number 1.
Now, actually, the thing that stands out to me in DC this month is not what's there, but what's missing. Because there's no Doomsday Clock solicitation this month.
Well, there's probably a reason for that. So
I guess it's going bi-monthly.
Apparently.
Or bi-monthly instead of monthly. So
right.
Yeah, and that was already with some Skip Months worked in the schedule apparently. Wow.
So that's kind of a bummer because I'm actually kind of enjoying
that.
Especially for a 12-issue series.
Yeah,
that's going to drag.
As long as they've had that in, they should have had multiple issues in the tank on that already before they started that. So.
And the funny thing about that too is I saw, I guess the other day, Gary Frank posted something online about, we're getting ready to do the next Batman Earth 1. And I'm like, really?
Really?
In the middle of this.
You got like 9 more issues or something, a Doomsday Clock, and we're looking to the next thing already? Let's get this done first. Yes. I want to read both.
Prioritize.
Yeah. Well, let's take this one step at a time. On 88, we've got DC Superhero Girls Out of the Bottle collection. I think this was previewed at the Batman/Harley Quinn Day last year. I think this was a preview. Yep. This was one of the freebies.
Right.
So if you want to read that, that's going to come out here in a couple months. Those are always pretty good all ages kind of
Yep,
girl books
exactly.
that they do, and they have decent stories in them too. It's not just like kiddie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
On page 95, we were continuing the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 crossover, and that's been really good. On 97, we've got Batman White Knight number 7, which has been a really solid book so far. I think it's 8 issues now. I think it might have been less before. I think they've increased on that.
I think that's right.
And apparently Sean Murphy made some comments online hinting at a sequel
Oh, really?
to that, so we'll probably see some more of that. I think it's
Okay.
been one of, sort of good selling out of continuity story for Batman, which there's usually not a ton of that.
Right.
Anybody watching Black Lightning on
No.
CW?
I have not caught it yet. I'm behind on everything. It's ridiculous.
I decided I was going to wait and stream that, just binge it all at once. But I've heard pretty positive things about
Yeah.
it. So, but Black Lightning's, his
Yeah, he's got a mini
monthly,
series
yeah,
coming out.
he's got a series out now. So that might, if you're interested in the show, you might also come in and pick up the comic.
Pick it up. And I think there's been 3 issues out or so, and I'm pretty sure I still have all of them in stock. If you're,
So
you wanna
please
check that out. So
come buy some Black
pick 'em
Lightning,
up.
give it a shot.
Yeah, it's
See
Black
what you
History
like it.
Month. Come on, get some
Yeah,
Black
there you
Lightning.
go.
On 105, we've got Deathstroke number 30 starting the Deathstroke
right.
versus Batman arc. I believe it was Bleeding Cool Online, kind of reported at first that this would be its own standalone book. I thought that was kind of dubious with Deathstroke getting top billing over Batman.
Batman.
I can't see DC doing that.
No.
But now we're finding out they're listing it here as a series within a series. Which
It
is
seems
just
to
a
work since
multi-part
Christopher.
story. But
Yeah, since Christopher Priest writing it, it might as well just go into the Deathstroke
yeah,
series.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the impression I'm getting online or something, but it seems like they're acting like this is the first time they've ever faced, and it totally is not. It's like maybe the 30th.
It's the first
But-
time they've faced in the Rebirth universe,
That's
which is the
true,
first
yeah.
time. I'm going back to 102 Cyborg, and what's interesting about Cyborg is that Marv Wolfman, co-creator of Cyborg, is coming back to write Cyborg. So, of course,
How long is this sticking around, though?
Yeah, that's a good point. But it is going back to his roots. Of course, the character is quite a bit different than when Marv Wolfman wrote Cyborg. So his power has been upped about 100 times. But
Well,
if you
when you're on the Justice League, that's
yeah,
what
you
gotta
gotta
do.
you gotta keep up, unless you're Batman.
Oh, next to that, we also have the last issue of the Neil Adams Dead Man miniseries. Anybody heard anything about this?
No.
No, I have not. Several people are picking it up, but nobody said anything. So I don't know.
After Batman Odyssey, I'm kind of wary
Yeah.
of his writing
And
work.
War of the Superman too, right? It was
Yeah.
kind of-
I didn't even
iffy.
pick that up. Well, no, War of the Superman was the previous story that took place during World of New Krypton,
Okay.
which was the Jeff Johns thing, which was
Okay,
like, why
what's
did
the
they
one?
greenlight this Neil Adams series, which is basically the same thing.
Right. Okay. So I just had the name using
Yeah.
the previous name.
But
So
I'm sure
but
other
whatever
people
the
did
Neil
too.
Adams Superman thing was, yeah. I did not hear good things about that either.
We've got Justice League 42 and 43 in this one, written by Christopher Priest, which, there's been some news about that too, where apparently the Justice League and Justice League of America books are going to be wrapping up, and Scott Snyder is going to be restarting them,
Huh.
or at least taking over.
For both?
Well, I'm not sure if they're doing both or just Justice League with
Gotcha.
them, but that'll be
'Cause
after
I knew Justice
Metal
League
and
of America
everything.
was running out, but I hadn't heard about Justice League.
I assume it's a new number one, but I won't swear to that.
Right.
You would have thought they'd have learned their lesson. Just continue the numbering at this point with one title or the other,
Well,
or go back to the
Page-
old school
page
numbering.
120, we have Superman, the next book they're doing that with.
Yeah.
When Bendis comes to take over. I guess we should talk about that with Action at least.
Right.
Part of the
yeah.
big announcement with Brian Michael Bendis coming to DC is that he's going to be taking over the Superman books. So when his this run of Superman will be wrapping up, and there will be a weekly 6-issue series called Man of Steel by Bendis. After that, when the Superman monthly title wraps up, they're restarting with a new Superman number 1, and Action Comics 1001 will come out the same month. So we're going to see a hiatus of Action from 1000, which will be out in April in this
Right.
catalog, until July, when 1001 comes out by Bendis.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're picking up those books, might want to be aware
Yeah.
of that.
It sounds kind of like sounds almost
It's-
exactly what happened with
exactly.
Byrne.
Yeah,
right?
what Byrne did.
Yeah,
in
I was
the
gonna
80s.
say, it's even the same title.
Yeah,
that was
for sure.
Superman, Man of
Which
Steel.
that Man of Steel series is great. It's
It is
still,
really,
it's
really
still
good,
my
yeah.
favorite Superman origin.
yeah, it's still really
You
good.
know, and those early books by Byrne are still really good. That whole run is, still stands up. I do like on this Superman 44 cover with a lot of Bizarro characters. We have Bizarro Lex Luthor with his long red hair.
Oh yeah,
Sort of the opposite version of Lex Luthor.
right.
My next thing's not till 135.
That's mine too.
Okay.
I just wanted to stop on 131 just real quick with their continuing to use the old Hanna-Barbera action adventure characters,
Mm-hmm.
in the Future Quest Presents. I've read a couple of those and they've really been a lot of fun. But this, Herculoids, which as a kid that was always, my favorite. There's not that many episodes of it. I think they did like 18 total episodes.
Oh, really?
I totally
Yeah.
missed that.
Yeah, so the Herculoids, but they were always great character. Alex Toth character
Yeah.
designs, just terrific stuff.
I just finished rewatching the whole Thundar the Barbarian series.
Oh, yeah.
So I hadn't noticed Herculoids on that. I may have to look into that one.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a good book, and they're just kind of going through the different characters, anthology style. With that, they're in the middle of a Birdman arc right now. It's been pretty good.
Right. So, I just want to hit on
And
that.
it's giving some more backstory to Birdman with his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bird Boy.
Well, not yet, but probably by
At
the
some
end,
point,
I would hope.
huh? Yeah, I would think.
So yeah, and again, along with those books, we've got Scooby Apocalypse, which has always been a solid book. And again, if you're a fan of Walking Dead, this is a fun book to check out. Just the Scooby-Doo world just infested with monsters.
Something happening?
No, I just was looking for my pencil. I was
Oh,
gonna make
okay.
a note about that Future Quest and and couldn't write it down anyplace.
Gotcha.
So on 135, we've got Batman and the Signal trade paperback. Has the first issue of that even come out yet? Because I know
what
it
if
got delayed.
I think maybe. It's just like
Okay.
if it did, it just was like a blip on the signal, on the signal.
Right.
But maybe not. Maybe just has been, offered so much. It seems
Right,
like it's come
yeah.
out.
Is that basically the replacement for All Star Batman, Batman and the Signal? Because wasn't the Signal introduced as
He
part
was,
of All Star?
and I think that backup story is collected here in the trade.
Okay.
But Snyder has said he is supposed to be continuing All-Star Batman in some new format or some
Okay.
new iteration. What that actually amounts to, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of hype that when it actually comes out, it's like, this is a trade paperback.
Right.
Or something like that. So we'll see what they end up doing with that.
Gotcha.
Also on 135 is the Batman Detective Comics Rebirth Deluxe Edition, Book 2. So if you like to read it in a larger volume, then that'd be a good book to order at this point.
On 140, we've got a new version of Absolute Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come is just a great story. It's just kind of one of their evergreen books. It's always in print. If you haven't read it before, what are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the book that got me back into coming
Was
into
it?
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like I'd been out of it, and I just happened to stop in to the old locations for Campus Comics, up on the Strip, and saw this and what's this, and that's what got me coming back in.
Yeah, it's definitely an eye-catching book. Growing up, I don't think my dad ever paid attention to any comics I was reading, but he did see an issue of Kingdom Come and asked me, "What's that?" You know what I mean? It's it's painted, it's old watercolors, it's very super realistic superheroes.
and a really good story.
And it's a
really
very,
good story.
Mark Waid's story. You
it's
can
fantastic.
almost can't go wrong.
I think every time I've lent that to someone, they've read it in that same, like in that night in one sitting.
Right.
Like people can't put it down.
Yep.
And the absolute, is like the art at the original size. There's so much detail and Easter eggs,
Oh yeah.
in this book. You can read it 10 times and still see new stuff. I've actually have a companion book at home that goes through all the Easter eggs.
Oh, wow.
And it's really nice. A
Yeah,
lot
the
of
Watchmen are in there. and,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah.
the
it's all kinds of-
Beatles,
Yeah. Yep.
Rorschach is in there. It just goes on. We
Oh,
could
yeah.
we could just be all night
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
there's
Kingdom
tons
Come.
of Easter eggs. Just it's just a lot of fun.
But again, again the absolute, it's $100 before a discount. So, but if you really want a great copy where you can really see the art,
Right.
this is a good pickup.
be a good shelf book or
for sure, for
out on the coffee table style book.
On the next page, we've got the Batman 66 Omnibus hardcover, which collects the entire run of the monthly Batman 66 comic with the Lost Episodes special. And then a story from Solo number 7, which I'm pretty sure was the Mike Allred issue which had a Batman 66 story, and it was sort of a precursor to the series here. I don't know how easy that is to find anymore, so that's definitely worth picking up.
Page 145, wasn't there just a fairly recent, like, Judas Contract reprint? I guess this is just the reprint for the omnibus. They just happen to choose the same
Right.
cover.
Yeah, that probably, I wouldn't imagine that's the final cover either on it, but I don't think it says that. Right before that, we've got the JLA Year One trade, which was the 12-issue series, again by Mark Waid and Brian Augustin, that Barry Kitson drew, which is sort of a retelling of the Justice League's origin, sort of post-crisis. And that's a really good run there on that. On 147, we've got Superman by Mark Millar trade. Mark Millar is pretty deep into his own thing anymore, and I just saw yesterday on Twitter where someone brought up a Superman story to him, and he's like, that's never going to happen now, basically. So if you want Mark Millar working on Superman, the only thing with this is it doesn't seem to contain his most famous Superman story, Red Sun, but I'm sure that's available separately on its own.
Yeah,
Right.
But again, this has some of his Superman Adventures work, which it's one of those things I've just never got around to picking up, but it's supposed to be really solid stuff in that.
Also on page 147, you got the Superman Golden Age Volume 4 trade paperback, which has one of my all-time favorite Superman images of him holding the eagle on his arm with the nice patriotic shield in the background.
That original piece went up for auction a couple years ago, and I can't remember how much it sold for.
I'm
But
sure it was ridiculous.
I'm sure it was up there. On the next page here, on 148, we have the 0 Hour Crisis in Time hardcover. Not sure why this is coming out now. This was kind of a big crossover in the 90s. Just remember, if you do pick up the single issues, it goes 43210.
Yep.
Don't read it like my friend Brett, starting with issue 0 and being like, well, that's pretty much all the story.
It's like you're reading Memento. You know,
Yeah,
that movie.
exactly. Right after that, on 149, we've got Astro City 52, which is listed as the final issue.
Until they change formats.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're going to more of a graphic novel format after this, as opposed to the monthly book.
Yeah, which makes sense. This is one of those series that I keep I keep meaning to track down the first trade and just start it because I've heard nothing but good things about Astro City.
It's a
and
solid
it's one I
book.
need to read, and I just haven't done it yet.
Yes,
So
I mean, for as long as this book's been going on, it's still solid. It's still good, done-in-one stories for the most part. You know, some good, several, multiple-part stories too, though, but always worth picking up. On 151, we've got Batman 0 Hour trade, which apparently is to go with the 0 Hour trade coming out.
because you need more 0 Hour.
You need more 0 Hour. The only thing I want to bring up about this is I'm pretty sure this will have I want to say it was Detective Comics issue, which put into question about whether or not Joe Chill was actually the murderer of the Waynes. And I know that was something that played out later on in Jeff Loeb's Batman or Superman Batman run, and had a lot of people throwing fits.
Oh yeah. So this is where the controversy started.
Yeah.
Or possibly have that story in there. It should. Yeah.
It's all retcon now though, so whatever.
Right. Yeah, on 152, we're gotten through all the book section of DC, and looks like they're making up for lost time with the collectible side.
Yeah.
You know,
This is why I don't buy statues, Mike.
because you would have to collect them all.
I would
right?
get all these.
Yeah, because this is a statue version recreation of the famous George Perez cover to the New Teen Titans, #1, and the first offerings of that. And it's individual statues. The first ones out there are Robin and Starfire, and they just look great. And price point, it's not cheap. Especially by the time you collect all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, you're going to have some money in it. But the retail on it's $80. And it looks like it's really going to look cool, when you get it all together. So I will be having them all in here. So
you can at least see it if you don't necessarily have to own it.
Buy it, but
See it, don't touch it.
that's right. Yes, exactly.
We don't need to get into that tonight.
Hard lesson learned. Had to bring that up. No, but anyway, that's also cool too. Of the way they're planning this too is you can put them together, but all the actual statues will stand great as they're on their own too.
Yeah,
You
like they
just
still
want the
look
Raven
fine individually.
matte. Yeah, so
You should specify which Matt.
Matt
Yeah,
Speroni.
yeah,
If you want a classic Raven statue, which I know you're not crazy about that costume, but hey, it's Raven. So that'd look good on its own. Flipping over, there's a really nice continuing of the what is this? The Women of DC Universe, I think, cover girl. Oh, DC Cover Girls, and it's the Joelle Jones Batgirl of what's it? Batgirl Burnside kind of costume.
Yeah, she's doing a really good run on Batman right now too with the Batman and Catwoman storyline. It's been really good that she's been drawing.
Very cool. And then below that is a statue of just to me one of the definitive Batmans is Brian Boland Batman.
Okay, this is a nice statue.
Mm-hmm.
When has Brian Boland ever drawn Batman's cape like that?
That's true.
It's always just a
Just
real
hanging.
smooth,
Yeah.
kind of slick,
That's
hanging
true.
straight down.
Yeah.
This is more detailed. It looks nice. I don't feel like that's a Brian Boland cape though on Batman.
Yeah, you've got a point. I was just looking at
know.
the. Yep, you got a point.
Like
He's got kind of got the pointy shoulders, which he draws, but yeah, the way the cape's flowing.
Yeah, like it's nice detail, but I don't
Yeah.
see that in a Brian Boland. That's not in Killing Joke. I'll tell you that right
that's
now.
No,
true.
yeah, no.
It's more of a
You know,
heavier cape looking.
But the rest of the body looks good. The face looks good. It's a good likeness.
My
of
only question
Boland's
about this is
Batman.
why are they starting out with this statue, in the miniature size? Usually they'll do the full size edition and then do the smaller one later. But this, I don't think they ever did the full size one, which disappoints me because I would have it.
Back on 154, we've got the Batman animated series Harley Quinn Expressions pack. So these are all like sort of accessories. Does this come with the figure too, or is this just an accessory
Yes,
pack?
it comes with the figure.
Okay, because I'm like, it's $50. I kind of want a figure in there.
It comes with the
19
figure
pieces,
accessory.
6-inch tall figure. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know the Batman Expressions thing did. So
Okay, so yeah, it's a lot of different heads for Harley Quinn with different faces, and then different accessories and the hyenas and stuff like that.
Bud and Lou.
Get more out of your Harley Quinn figures.
And then finally, 156. I was glad to see this kind of product line starting. It's kind of comparable to what Diamond is doing with the gallery figures. They're nice sculpts, really nice looking figures, but they're obviously made out of PVC, some kind of plastic. So the price point, instead of being, you'd be looking at probably $120 to $150 in this. This is going to be a $50 statue. And the first one out's going to be a real classic looking Joker on a base that consists of a bunch of ha-ha-ha's, lumped together into one big ha, But it's a really nice sculpt, and they have a sneak peek down at the bottom of the Batman in that line, and that looks really good,
Yeah,
too.
that is a nice looking Batman.
So if again, nice figures without breaking the bank,
Yeah, and I think we've talked about some of those before in here, and it is, we see them in person, they still look nice.
IDW?
Yep.
I've only got one thing in IDW, and mine's on 167. So
Mine's on 165.
then you go.
Oh, you
Where
win.
they at? So they're doing a adaptation of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which why isn't Marvel doing this? I understand they're doing more of the kids-oriented Star Wars stuff, and Marvel's done adaptations of Rogue One and Force Awakens, right?
Yep, they have.
And they came out way later than the movies. Apparently, that's because of clearance and likeness issues and things. But why wouldn't Marvel do that too?
Yeah, I thought I saw a Marvel Last Jedi series. Am I mistaken on that too? I don't know why they do two,
Yeah.
but I may be hallucinating or something.
Page 167, Dungeons and Dragons: Evil at Baldur's Gate. I just loved this video game back on PC many years ago, and it has some of the characters from the first Baldur's Gate game. So if you're looking for a comic based on that series, or at least that world or realm inside of Dungeons and Dragons, be something to check out character-wise.
On 174, we've got The Crow, Vault of Shadows, Book 1. And this is something we were kind of talking about on a previous episode, where there are some Crow miniseries by other creators that were done back in the day, and this looks like it's starting to collect some of those. So if you like The Crow, definitely check these out. That I've read, I think, all of these that are listed here, and they were all good, really tight stories of revenge. It's not Eric Draven, it's other characters that are kind of being guided by the Crow. So, but they're definitely worth picking up if you're a fan. Just because it's not James O'Barr doesn't mean it's not good.
That's all I had. I only had the one thing in IDW,
Okay.
so...
Well,
Go ahead.
I think you probably want to talk about this too.
Okay, yeah. Every month we seem to pause on these, like the artist editions and things like that IDW does, which are the, full-size recreations of, some famous artists' work, in the size that they did on the art boards. And they're, scanned from the original, so you see all the whiteout or all the blue line or all the editor notes and things. And one I'm probably not going to be able to resist ordering this, and it's the Jack Kirby, because it looks just like some just terrific images from him, and I would love to see any editor's notes or
Oh,
any
yeah.
whiteout, anything like that, you know, on that stuff.
Well, I think most of the time on Kirby stuff, Kirby was the one that was writing the notes on the
Yeah,
on the
that's true.
page. At least what I've
Yeah.
heard people talking about in the past.
Maybe they'll do some of their new gods where they whited out Superman's head
Right.
and Kurt Swan's
Put
over the
Kurt
top
Swan's
of it.
head on it.
Well,
yeah.
this one's all Marvel though
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm probably going to have that just to look at that stuff. And then right next to it, I mean, it's not too shabby either. You know, you got Joe
Kubert,
you know,
4
with
different Joe
Tarzan,
Kubert.
Thor, and Enemy
Enemy
Ace.
Ace,
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's not too shabby, but Kirby, I'm not going to be able to
Yeah,
resist.
I gotta
don't
think that's one that a lot of people are gonna pick up. If you
Yeah.
get these, you definitely want the Kirby one.
on the Image.
Yep, for me.
The only thing I had in Image is just analog number 1. It's basically where the digital world goes wrong and everything is able to be tracked. So they are sending all your data now by courier, usually armed courier. So I thought that sounded like a pretty interesting story. Jerry Dugan writing and David O'Sullivan and what is that, Jordi Belair on the art. So something to pick up, something to think about.
Will that be your?
That's my
Number
one.
one.
That's
Your
my
one
that's
to
my
get.
one. I'm gonna double up on, and just in case. So, and I'll be wrong again, but that's okay. I've been wrong way more than I've been right.
On 208, we've got Crossroad Blues, a Nick Travers graphic novel. It looks like this is a professor kind of researching Robert Johnson, the blues man who sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads.
Right.
So it looks like we've got a story
Crossroads,
kind of
yeah.
involving that here.
That was always an interesting story of blues legends. So for you music people and blues people, that might be kind of a cool thing just to pick up on.
There were a lot of number 1s from Image this month.
Yeah.
I mean, they usually have a lot, but there seems like a whole lot more.
yeah.
And like Isola number 1, the Crude number 1, the Dead Hand number 1, Skyward number 1. And some of the premises on them sounded a little silly to me, but
Right.
if you're interested in Image number 1s, looking for that next Walking Dead, you should at least take a look and see if something jumps out at you and maybe put in a pre-order for that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but especially this catalog, I kind of get the deja vu you get of following stuff online, seeing it previewed a month or two ago, then you see it in previews, and it's brand new, but you're like, I feel like I've seen that.
Oh, Seen that yeah.
before.
Isn't that out yet? You know?
Right.
And back in the day, it used to be really bad with Wizard, too, in the mix on all that, too. You'd see some book 3 times before it hit the shelves. On 218, we've got a listing of all new Image firsts, and this is sort of comparable to Marvel's True Believers program, where we have a bunch of first issues here that are all $1. So, you know, good way to jump into a book. I see they've got Moonshine number 1, which
Right.
is one of my favorite books right now, so check that out. Fade Out number 1, I've read that. That's
Brubaker.
another good one by
Yep.
Brubaker. Not for the kids, but, you know, something good to check out.
And right next to it's Fatal.
yeah,
Fatale,
and
Great.
if you don't have Spawn number 1, you
There
can
you
pick
go.
that up, too,
You
for
can
a
pick that
buck.
up for $1. Yep.
Probably pick the real one up for that, too.
Yeah, close. Maybe a couple times.
It'll be at least 5.
Yeah,
know.
probably.
It'll be at least $5 for Spawn number 1.
On 234, we've got Oblivion Song number 2, which we were talking about last
Right.
time. So it looks like at least that's coming out on time.
On time.
We'll see how that goes.
Right.
Well,
And
didn't
I'm-
you say that you had that actually ship yet? Or?
No, they were sending it out to select retailers, but
Okay.
I was not.
Oh, come
selected.
on.
You were not
Yes,
selected.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
Call.
no comment. Yeah.
My last thing in Image is actually on 247, and it's actually McFarlane is doing some Star Trek figures.
Oh,
We've got a Captain Kirk and Captain Picard, so you can buy each and settle the debate yourself.
Who
That's
is
right.
better?
Who's
I saw the looks like the case ratio favors Kirk, which I don't know about that, but we got to do.
Where's Cisco? That's what I want to know. Is
That's series 2.
all right. Marvel.
Sure.
I think so.
All right, page 4 in Marvel. You got Captain America 700. You got a Jim Lee variant cover on that. Remastered, right?
Something
Yeah.
he drew in the 90s.
90s, yeah.
They're using it as a cover now.
And just a different background. I think it's basically just a different background and probably recolored is probably what it
Yeah.
boils down to. But it is Cap 700. So,
Oh, yeah.
and there's also a Jim Steranko variant cover. A lot of people are big Alex Ross fans. There was an Alex Ross variant cover for
you
issue
knew
700.
that was going to happen.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no way they're not doing an Alex Ross cover.
So we're at issue 700 for Cap.
Right. But unlike the Action 1000, these I'm sure are many incentive
Yes,
variant
yeah.
covers.
Yeah.
So Probably some I have to order 500. So I know I'm not getting those because I'm not going to order 500 copies of the regular one.
What?
I know, right?
What if someone wants to buy 500 copies?
Well, they can buy it from me and tell me they want them.
Yes,
So.
and probably
They
put
can
down a
have
little
their-
money down just
Yeah.
to be for sure that you pick them up.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I might be a little behind on Captain America right now, but I think this story is wrapping up where he, the last issue I read, he was frozen again at the end.
Oh,
And I believe this out of time story here is he wakes up in the far future.
No.
So
Well-
Cap has been frozen again and is out of time again.
I have not read any of the
Yeah.
Mark Waid stuff yet
Oh.
because I'm waiting on the trade. So
Man, if I were you, I wouldn't be waiting. It is that good.
I probably shouldn't, but that's just how I operate on reading my books anymore. So I think the only book I'm reading right now monthly was Doomsday Clock, and now I'm
Yeah.
not going to be
Well,
reading that
you'll
monthly
be reading it
anymore.
bi-monthly.
Yeah,
Right after that, we've got Exiles #1. Looks like a new series with Blink and some alternate versions of Marvel heroes. It looks like from other dimensions, but it looks like they're bringing in the
movie Valkyrie. it
yeah
looks like.
Valkyrie that's closer to the Thor Ragnarok movie.
well, how convenient.
So if you like that, you can check that out.
Page 9, you got a new first issue of Domino, and I just mentioned it because we have Gail Simone as the writer on that, and there is a Rob Liefeld variant cover, so I guess he is technically co-creator at a minimum of Domino.
Oh, probably.
I guess
would
maybe,
say.
yeah, so you got the
Will
co-creator.
there be feet on that?
That's
cover?
always the question.
right.
That's always the question.
I'm sure that's
I decided what Liefeld needs to do is, like, he needs to create a comic book where all of the characters are feet. That would be incredible. I would buy that book monthly.
just because he would shut down the haters.
That's right. It
Or,
would be a
or it would
combination.
be blank pages.
he was interviewed. We've talked about that. Robert Kirkman was it Secret History of Comics on here once or twice before, and there was one episode on Image, obviously, and they interviewed almost all of those first 7 Image guys, and Rob Liefeld always just comes across as a super nice guy, and so. Yeah, he gets a lot of hate from the industry,
yeah.
but from what I understand, he's like awesome at conventions to fans, and so yeah, just keep that in mind too.
and
Yeah.
he has a pretty A-list lineup of professionals that support him. Kirkman loves him.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
he's
just like-
Kirkman's the one that brought him back into Image. After they had their big falling out. So
right.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'll talk trash. I don't know the guy.
me neither.
Right,
No,
He could be the nicest guy in the world. I don't know. Maybe we'd be great friends. I don't know. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah,
but
Right.
he historically has not drawn feet.
Right.
yeah, that's that's science fact.
Yes.
Yeah. Or
And there is possibly
Anatomy correctly.
there is possibly the worst image of Captain America ever drawn was drawn
Oh,
by Rob
yeah.
Liefeld.
We were
so
talking about that
yeah.
the other day. Dennis, the former owner of the store, tried to get me to buy that, and I would not. Is anybody reading Avengers right now?
No.
Okay. A little bit of a spoiler for what drops today, apparently, with this No Surrender story, is the phrase Avengers Fever. That's all I'm going to say about it. But if you've got Avengers Fever, Marvel's got you covered.
Yeah.
they got the
Because
cure.
they got the cure. And it's not cowbell.
I am gonna
It's Avengers.
I am gonna read that in trade whenever
Right.
it comes out because of Mark Waid being on it. So I'm definitely gonna give at least the first trade a shot. But I'm not reading that monthly right now. So
Yeah, but there's just a ton of stuff going on with that No
Avengers
Surrender
Fever.
story. We've got Venomized. Looks like it's a big crossover featuring Venom. What are your thoughts on?
they're like just dragging it out.
It's
It's just
here.
like I was like, oh my gosh, how much longer is this gonna go on? So I mean, it's
So,
not.
yeah, we're talking-
it's
we're
like
talking about
but
Thor
Thor,
right
yeah,
now.
Thor number 706. So we're the Death of the Mighty Thor finale
Dun,
on
dun, dun.
dun dun dun. Yeah, so I'm dreading. I'm still dreading these next few issues.
She
of,
doesn't look too
Thor.
healthy here.
No, well, she doesn't look healthy like 6 or 7 issues ago,
Really?
which is where I'm at reading it.
Are they carrying that through pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, it's just she knows she's dying, and basically, the Odin's son is trying to get her to be saved by Asgardian magic, and she's refusing to do it, and it's just I
I feel like I would do it.
I think I would
that's
too.
that's me.
But
Always so.
okay, spoiler on the most recent trade for Thor is there's yet another Thor added to the mix. I don't know.
Was that in
We get
700.
we get War Thor,
Yeah.
which is Volstagg.
I thought that
Volstagg
was-
picking up the hammer
I really like that. I thought that was kind of
Yes.
cool, and it's a fun thing to do with him. Give him something to do.
and make him not so of a one-dimensional
Yeah, for
character.
sure.
So it's actually one. It caught me by surprise whenever I was reading that issue because I just wasn't expecting. I see on the cover War Thor and Volstagg never crossed my mind.
Right.
So it was actually
Well,
it's
it's
actually
such
a pretty
a jokey
powerful
kinda
event.
character.
Exactly. So, and especially as you know, in the last Thor movie, how they were dismissed.
boy.
It's nice to see those, at least one of those
Yeah.
characters, get a little bit of some headlines.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that on our bonus episode we did. But yeah, I just feel like, I'm not a big Marvel guy, but like I know who the Warriors 3 are. I appreciate them being in these movies, and it really felt like, really?
Yeah.
That's how you take them out? It just felt like a kind of a waste.
Page 28.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
more dollar books.
we've got the True Believers, which are all Infinity themed
Right.
for
yeah.
this month.
Why would
Except
that
for
be?
they kind of have the first Carol Danvers there as the oddball one that's really not Infinity / Thanos. I mean, so
Well, Infinity War comes out the next month. Is
Mm-hmm.
that out of place, or is that hinting at something?
we already know there's a Captain Marvel movie. So
Well, will
Is she
there be
gonna
a cameo?
Cameo.
oh
in
yeah,
Infinity
you know
War?
that's
Are
a
they
good
getting
point.
people up to speed in case that happens at the end?
Could be. And then of course you got the first appearance of Thanos reprinter and that's a $400 to $600 comic book.
Yeah.
So if you're
for
wanting
a
to
buck.
read that, if you want to get it for a buck, that's your chance. Infinity Gauntlet #1, that's usually a $20 plus book
Yeah.
there. The Rebirth of Thanos with Jim Starlin, that's reprinting Silver Surfer 34. Plus it's got terrific Ron Lim art. So that's also another one you can pick up
Is
for a
Ron Lim
buck.
doing anything anymore?
The last thing that I heard was he was on that, and it's been a long time ago. He's been doing some variant covers.
Oh yeah.
For
What? I mean, but there was
Yeah.
some series, like a vampire series that he was on.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
the last thing that I knew of that he was working on, kind of like on a monthly basis. So it's been a while. I need to look
It
that
just
up.
seemed like he was all over the place there for so long. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely check out the Infinity, dollar issues. Get a jump on your friends. Go see Infinity War and be like, "This is inaccurate. This isn't how it happened in the movie. This is not my Thanos.
They're supposed to be gems,
not-
not
You know.
stones.
Where's Adam Warlock?" Which we'll all be saying that.
Yep.
So right after that, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 797, or I guess 798. And I guess this is Dan Slott's swan song on
Swan song,
Spider-Man. There's kind of a cool cover here on 799 of a character I guess they're calling the Red Goblin,
right.
which
Yep.
sort of looks like, to me, almost like a Carnage version of the Green
is.
Goblin.
Really, yeah.
Yep. I think
So-
it's Osborn, and I don't know if it's Cletus Cassidy, but I
Right,
know
but
teaming
like
up
a
with maybe the
symbiote
Carnage
or something.
symbiote. Yeah, so Red Goblin. So yeah,
Surprised that didn't happen in the 90s.
there's yeah.
And again, all the Dan Slott stuff on Spider-Man, every time I read it, I really enjoy it. It, for some reason, does not sneak up to the top of my pile, but I've got it all waiting to read whenever I find some time to catch up on some reading. So.
And of course, with these, that means next month we'll be looking at Amazing Spider-Man 800.
800.
So getting up there with Spider-Man. We got some more Venom stuff with the movie coming out later this year. I think we're pretty
Big
close.
trailer, aren't we?
Pretty soon, I
Yeah.
think. Maybe tomorrow
Yeah,
from
that's what I'm
when we're
thinking.
recording this. So
Right.
maybe the day this goes up.
Today is February the 7th. We're recording this, so I'm thinking the 8th.
Yeah, here later on, we've got a listing of Marvel's new Young Guns program for their 2018, which is some creators they say to kind of keep an eye on. They've done this before over the years. Some of these names I already recognize, though, so I don't know how,
Young those guns are.
yeah.
No, they're doing some variant covers for, some of that stuff. Like there's today was being a Wednesday was the drop of the first issue of X-Men Red, the new X-Men book led by the resurrected adult Jean Grey, and there's a Young Guns variant on that. We have a couple of those in the store, and they're going for like $30-$35 on eBay, so whatever.
When they gonna remake Young Guns? When's that happening? It's gonna. So later on in the catalog, on page 51, we've got Thanos Annual #1, starring Cosmic Ghost Rider, which
Yay.
apparently everybody loves.
I guess he was in Guardians of the Galaxy is where that first happened. Is that
it?
right?
Right.
You
I
tell
believe
me.
so.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's supposed to be the big reveal of who it is or something.
Yeah. On the next page, we have Lockjaw #304 with Spider-Ham. Got to get that.
Peter Porker.
I love
Spectacular Spider-Ham.
Love some Spider-Ham. I do like the ads they've been running for Lockjaw. I guess if you're not reading the monthly books, you probably haven't seen it. But it's like a lost dog flyer for Lockjaw, and it's got the little things, little tabs at the bottom that you can rip out of your comic and then buy another one since you have a mint one.
Oh gosh.
Looks like we got Weapon H number 2 with Weapon H fighting a Wendigo because it's hardcore.
My next thing's on, 62? So whatever you got till 62. 62. Now, Old Man Logan wasn't enough, so now Marvel, best known for taking one idea and completely beating it into the ground, now has Old Man Laura for all new Wolverine.
Is it Old Man Laura?
Old woman, Old woman. Oh. Yeah, all right, okay. Old woman
Did they
Laura.
think old lady Laura would be out of place?
They should have done Old Maid Laura and included cards with it, like they did back in the 90s, and you could buy all the variant issues, get the whole set, and have a set of playing cards.
When do we get Old Aunt May? When do we get that gritty futuristic
She's gotten younger.
Yeah. 71, we've got Marvel Superhero Adventures. Looks like it's a new all-ages kind of kids book. Looks like it's similar to the Superhero Squad stuff they're doing for so long. I feel like they've altered it maybe just enough where they don't have to pay those guys that did Superhero Squad, maybe. But if you're a fan of that, maybe check that out. Then we have Ant-Man and Wasp Prelude number 2, which again is sort of a prequel lead up to the new movie.
Yep.
Which, the new Ant-Man trailer's out there too. I think that looked pretty good.
Yep.
I haven't seen it yet.
Everybody seen that?
I haven't seen it yet. I just don't go out of my way to watch them, but that's fine.
I don't know if it's I don't think it's a spoiler because I might be wrong, but I think that's Ghost in the trailer, the villain.
Oh, okay.
So that's my guess.
I was trying to place it. Yeah,
I think that's who that is. I think he.
That would be a good. Yeah, that would be a good villain for Ant-Man. I think.
And then we also have a listing here for the Avengers featuring Thanos Marvel Comics Digest, which I believe this is one of the ones they're doing in conjunction with Archie.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's only one printing, so get them all you can. With those,
all the regular Star Wars books are still coming out.
Still buying them. Got some.
I'm 85 is where I'm at.
Well, I'm on 84.
Hey.
Where we've got Punisher Max by Garth Ennis Omnibus Volume 2. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about the first one previously. This collects more of Ennis's run. The nice thing about this, though, it also has the Punisher Presents Barracuda miniseries featuring that villain, which is a great standalone series. It is a Punisher book. It does not star the Punisher. It stars Barracuda, the villain, and gives some more backstory on him, but it's a really good book. It also features Punisher the Tiger, Punisher the Cell, and Punisher the End. Those are 3 great standalone issues, specials that they did back in the day. Just really good. Punisher the Cell is a story that could basically be in any part of Frank Castle's life, where he ends up in jail. Strategically, because all the guys who killed his family are in jail at the same time.
Oh, uh-huh.
What do you think happens then?
Yeah. you know where this story's going.
Yeah. And then we've got Punisher the End, which features Richard Corbin on art, which is sort of, the last Punisher story, which is maybe a little more poetic than most Punisher stories, but is a really good sort of finale to the character.
Page 85, we got another reprint of Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt, J.M. DeMatteis, Mike Zeck on art. This is pre-solicited for August, so it's a little ways out. But if you have not read that story, it's one of the better Spider-Man stories historically.
That seems like that's way out there, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's
so far ahead.
I just noticed that it said August as I was reading on it there. I didn't realize we were talking 6 months out instead of usual 2.
It's a $40 book. It's not like it's $200 or something. I wonder why they would do that far out. On 88, we've got Color Your Own Ant-Man and the Wasp. Again, kind of tying into the movie. Next to that, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp Prelude Trade.
Oh man,
which features
the second issue.
2-issue series, and then some other Ant-Man Wasp stories in there. After that, we've got Color Your Own Deadpool again, which I assume means they had a previous Deadpool coloring book.
Yes, they did.
So if you want to color some Deadpool, get some red crayons and go to town on that. On 96, we've got Black Panther, Long Live the King.
What is MPGN? So the GN is graphic novel, but what's the MP?
Marvel Premiere.
Marvel Premiere, you think? Okay, all right.
Yeah. See here at the top of the cover,
first time in print. Yeah.
they got Marvel Premiere graphic novel.
I see it there now.
So yeah, and I was kind of reading about this today online a little bit. Apparently, these are Comixology exclusive books they were doing, which are now coming into print.
Okay.
The article I was reading kind of likened it to what they do with the Netflix shows. They're Netflix exclusive, then they come out on DVD later.
Okay.
So kind of what they're doing here with having a physical trade.
Yeah. And then
those stories.
On 97, you got the next trade of Black Panther Book 5, Avengers of the New World Part 2, still written Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's still really, really good, and they also added art with Chris Sprouse, so that's a add-on to that series.
Cover by Brian Stelfreeze. I like that.
On 111, we've got the Death of Wolverine Complete Collection trade. Did we even talk about Wolverine coming back?
No, I think that was a very
Wolverine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It was actually on page 2.
Yeah, Wolverine's coming back, guys.
Yeah, as if you didn't know from all the little icons in the previous catalogs that we talked about.
Yeah, were there any in this one?
I didn't notice any, but
maybe they heard us complaining about it last time. And took them
yeah,
out.
I'm sure they take into account what we have to say about their
why
catalog.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But if you want to read how Wolverine died before he's coming back, pick that up.
Again, died again, or this time.
Many times.
Page 110.
I don't
we have a Werewolf by Night, the Complete Collection, Volume 3. The one thing in this one is this has a reprint of Werewolf by Night 32, which is first appearance of Moon Knight. And if you paid any attention to that book, it's gotten ridiculous. So if you want to purchase this and get that story at a not paying several $100s for that story, then the Werewolf by Night Complete Collection. And then I want to cue you in on the posters on page 14. Just go.
Let's go.
Go.
Well, we've got a very nice Deadpool 300 by Scott Koblish poster here featuring many versions of Deadpool. We have Domino by Greg Land poster. Nice cover for the new series.
New series, cover number 1, yeah.
There's a Hunt for Wolverine by McNiven poster, which is probably the cover to the series, which isn't finished yet, but you see a version of it in here.
But there's no picture here on this page.
There's not, but you can guess what that is.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
Got a good idea. We have Marvel poster A with no picture. We have Marvel poster B.
But wait, there's more.
There's Marvel poster C, Scott.
I know, it's lovely.
With no picture.
I'll order all 3 of those.
I don't know what they are. I don't know what they look like.
It would be awesome if they actually put a poster that had the letters A, B, and C on them. They're just doing the whole alphabet.
Just Marvel A.
The whole alphabet.
Well, you could spend $9
and find out what it is. Right. What if they put the head of every single character of theirs that started with the letter A?
Do that. Do something.
Yeah.
Next time I'm just going to flip through the catalog and guess what those posters are going to be.
There you go. Start a pool.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll start a Deadpool on that.
Back of the book. I'll go first page 256. Solicited again, and I'm just going to keep, as long as this book shows up in the catalog and trade, I'm probably going to mention it every single time. But they're resoliciting Motor Girl Volume 2 in trade paperback from Abstract Studios. 10, 12 issues. I can't remember what it was. I read it in trade. Outstanding story. Highly recommend it. Not superhero based, but it's a really good Terry Moore story.
On 284, we've under I believe it's Antarctic. We've got the Steampunk Glamour Gazette, which looks like it's a steampunk cosplay magazine. So if you're into some of that, you can check that out. It says we're back under a new name. I don't know what it was before. But it's the Steampunk Glamour Gazette now. If you were getting it previously, maybe check that out. On page 300, we have Copra Collections, which has been a fun book. If you're trying to get original issues, have at it. Because that guy makes them himself on his Etsy store and sells them. So he does A to Z on that, and he sends them out, and they are super hard to find out, and they are super expensive when you do. I've read it digitally just because of the availability. But here are some new trades. They're about $20 each, and then we've got number 5 coming out now too at $22. But it's if you like John Ostrander Suicide Squad, you need to pick up this book because it is a rip-off of that, but really good. It's still a fun book. There are some characters that some are strange, and it's a fun time. It's kind of a cool indie book, and this guy kind of does it all himself, so you have to admire that.
while some of the coughs in this podcast have been real, I can assure you that those were not real coughs. Page, I got 331 is where I'm at next.
Well, on 304 with Bongo Comics, we've got Simpsons Comics 243, where it looks like they're bringing back Hank Scorpio, and it looks like he's teaming up with Mr. Burns here, so that'd probably be a fun story if you pick those up. Going into Boom, we've got RoboCop Citizens Arrest #1, where it looks like it's sort of later on in the story of RoboCop, and it looks like social media is coming into law enforcement. So this might be like kind of a good satirical story, more in line with the original RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be, it's written by Brian Wood, so this might be a good issue to pick up, a series. After that, we have the WWE WrestleMania 2018 Special #1.
Wrestling.
Got some good wrestling, and it looks like they're going to have a story of Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's match from WrestleMania 3, which is a great match. Gets overshadowed by Hulk and Andre the Giant, but it's still a good match at that special. So check that out. On Getting More Serious, on page 315, we have About Betty's Boob, original graphic novel, which looks like it's about a character with breast cancer. And kind of how she rebounds from that. So that might be a good story to read. Not some of the lighter fare that we've been going into necessarily. 322, we have Adventure Time 75, which claims to be the last issue.
Really?
I don't know if they're going to start over with a new #1 or if they're just dropping it. I can't imagine they're dropping the license entirely.
I wouldn't think.
Seems
the
like it's
show's
still
done, right? They were continuing on in comic form.
Yeah, but I would think if Boom is dropping this, surely someone else would pick it up. I
But
would imagine.
I think they're still doing Adventure Time Comics too, right? Which is
Yeah.
a separate book. Yeah, right next to it on page. Yeah, it's on number 22 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
On page 331 from Cartoon Books, we've got the Bone Coda Behind the Scenes bundle, and this actually includes a DVD of a TV show called The Cartoonist, which has a story about Jeff Smith, who is the creator of Bone. So if you're a diehard Bone fan, then that might be something you want to take a look at. I think you can actually watch that on like Amazon Prime for free, but if you wanted to actually own a copy, at least it was on Amazon Prime for free at one time. So
It'll be on there for a couple months, and you'll go.
Yeah.
Then
Where'd
you'll
that
want to
go?
watch it and can't find it. I just had that happen last night with a bunch of stuff. On 335, we have a book called Silver, which looks like it's from one of the animators of the Iron Giant.
No.
But it looks like it's more of a Dracula pulp kind of story with some vampires. It's listed as mature themes, so even though Iron Giant's family friendly, I'd imagine this isn't.
Yeah.
But there's 2 volumes of that, so that might be an interesting story to check out.
backing up to page 332. I don't remember having seen these solicited in previews. Maybe I just missed them, but there are a ton of classics, illustrated,
classics.
vintage replica editions that they're putting out in hardcover. So if there was a classics illustrated book that you remember having as a child and would like to have a nice hardcover, it looks like they're only going to be, it's $9.95 for a paperback and $12.95 for a hardback. So this would be your chance, and there's, I don't know, looks like about 70 of them that are going to be available. So I'm not going to list them all now, but out of 70 of them, there's a real good chance that one you like might be in there.
What kind of bums me out is there were some really good ones in the 90s by a lot of good like indie creators like J.K. Snyder. Gahan Wilson did an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe stories. A lot of really cool, solid books. Peter Cooper did The Jungle. Where are those at?
Right.
Those were really,
Doing
I read
those.
those growing up. I really liked them.
And we just kind of hitting on the back room and the back issue situation here at Campus Comics. We have an inordinate amount of just the floppy single issues of Classics Illustrated. So if you ever want to pick up any of those, they're here at real reasonable prices. Because it's sometimes it's just cool to read those stories in the original format you had. Just the soft cover floppy.
The way they were
comic.
meant to be, as comic books.
That's comic
right.
books, yeah. Page 338, you have Swashbucklers. This is a story that I think was an epic comic for a many years ago. We're talking about in the 80s. I think it was originally written by Bill Mantlo. Obviously, he's not going to be writing the continuation of this story, but his name is mentioned in here as the creator. So hopefully because he actually passed away. Is that right? Or is he the one that's really...
I thought he was in a coma. Did he pass
Okay,
away?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm saying things that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But I know there's some health issues. There has been some health issues with Bill
He
Mantlo,
doesn't
so I'm
do
hoping
well.
that At least if it's either going to, some of this will be going to support him or to support his estate, one of the two. So, and of course, I best know Bill Mantlo from ROM, the Space Knight. So, I only said it once this time.
Rom. I got a couple more for you.
On 348, we've got the second issue of the new Green Hornet series. Oh, wait, real quick. Wikipedia lists Bill Mantlo as is, so that means he's still alive.
Okay.
So
So hopefully it's going to his.
bummer.
Yeah. Hopefully it's going to support him in some.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of medical costs there with his care, so definitely check that stuff out. That helps him.
Yep.
Back to Green Hornet. We've got a new series written by Amy Chu. I just saw a quick sort of interview with her online, mentioning that she is planning to kind of up the Green Hornet's Rogues Gallery in this, and bring in a Joker level villain for the Green Hornet, which is something the Green Hornet really needs.
Yeah.
It's one of the characters that really is kind of hurt by not having a great Rogues Gallery, and really should after being around so long.
I'm going to jump back to 343 just for a second. There's a Red Sonja board game. And the one reason why I mentioned this is that I actually like to play quite a few board games. And what's nice about this one, I'll probably wait until I see some reviews on it personally before I actually pick it up. But it supports 1 to 4 players, so it's one of those games where if you want to play a game and you can't find anybody around, you can actually play the game solo without having to have friends.
Do you have
so
to
for
dress
those,
up like Red Sonja?
I would hope not.
I mean, you could though, right?
Well,
if you wanted to?
I couldn't because I don't have the stuff to dress up that way.
Hypothetically,
I guess you could.
You wanted to.
My next thing is on 360.
On 353, we have some reissues of some Shaft comic books and novels, which are marked for Black History Month, which is now,
Right.
not when this stuff comes out.
Yeah.
So why wasn't this in the catalog a couple months ago? But if you want to check out some Shaft, there you go.
Every month in previews, Dynamic Forces has some like signed and sketched up books with like the COAs and stuff. Sometimes they'll like say you can get like a guaranteed 9.6 or 9.8 issue signed and have those priced. But there are this month some issues of like Action Comics number 1000, one that you can get that's signed by Brian Michael Bendis, one that you can get that's signed by, I thought I saw Jim Lee. Yeah, someone that's signed by Jim Lee. The Brian Michael Bendis one, $38. The Jim Lee one, $300. Wow. So you can see whose signature they particularly value. But there are several of those, each month in previews. And I assume you can pre-order those. Just like, I guess I should have asked that first. But
no.
Yeah,
those are to order. Yeah, you can order them.
So
it's just they have the cutoff, and then they basically just
do exactly however many they have.
Yeah, so it's not something you're going to have to be able to go back and pick up later, except on the secondary market, which I'm sure.
Yeah, and how often do those show up on the secondary market? I feel like I don't see those very often.
Every once in a while, and I'll pick up some collections from time to time that will have some of these things in them. But
it really seems to be like if that's something you want, you got to get in on the ground floor with that.
There's also, if you have some money left over after you spend $300 on the Jim Lee signature, you can drop almost $800 to get a Amazing Spider-Man 797 Elite Gold Signature Series signed by Stan Lee.
Boy.
So
intro price of $7.97. Regular price is $899.99.
Yeah.
More.
So act now and save $120.
More than my first car. Back on 356, we've got the Bitcoin Comic Handbook by Josh Blaylock, which looks like it's sort of a primer for you understanding Bitcoin and how it works. So if you're confused about exactly how Bitcoin works like I am, maybe check it out.
I'm confused and I'm not sure I care.
Cryptocurrency.
Right.
Check that out.
It's the future.
On 365 with Fantagraphics, we have from the creator of X-Men Grand Design, which I would say the creator of Grand Design is the creator of Hip Hop Family Tree. We've got some Hip Hop Family Tree listings here with some collections of that you can get, which is a really solid book by Ed Piskor. Just sort of almost, it's a comic book, but it's almost an oral history of rap music from its beginnings, and it's been a really great book.
I'm on 420 is where my next thing is.
I bet it is. On 394.
It's not for me.
That's what they all say, Scott.
Yeah.
We've got Castronauts, which is Cats Astronauts, not anything else that might sound like. Robot Rescue, which looks like it's just sort of a fun kids all ages book. Looks like it's a series where we're up to volume 4 of Robot Rescue here. So it may just be a fun kind of cat-centric book to check out. On 410, we have Judge Dredd, The Complete Case Files, Volume 15. Who's that on the cover?
I know.
Because that better not be Dredd, because you could see that dude's face.
Yeah. That's not right.
It's like
It's the Stallone movie all over again.
Yeah, I assume that's not him. It doesn't quite look like his uniform.
So 420, and this is not. I have zero interest in this book personally, but I know that there are a lot of Beatles fans out there.
Yeah.
So you got the Beatles Yellow Submarine hardcover. You guys take it over because you probably know more about it than I do. So
Yeah, it looks like they're just doing a graphic novel adaptation of Yellow Submarine. Earlier, sort of at the beginning of the catalog, there's a little note here about Bill Morrison, who's doing this, who worked on the Simpsons comics for a long time. Apparently, he's also just taken over as editor of Mad Magazine.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of interesting to see where his career is going there.
It's taking him.
Yeah, but if you like the Beatles, you think Dennis would pick this
I
up?
don't know. Yeah, he might.
He likes Beatles.
He
Seems like
would.
this would be something for
Yeah,
him.
next to it, that's kind of weird. We might have hit on this before, but Yellow Submarine merchandise.
Nice. Mhm.
And for some reason, they have the almost pop-like figures of them, but they're black and white. I mean, the most colorful possible.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Version of the Beatles you could have, and let's put it in black and white.
So is Campus Comics going to participate in the Yellow Submarine limited edition merchandise exclusive contest with comic shops? What you have to do to enter?
I do not know.
Create an in-store Yellow Submarine display on August 8th, 2018 to tie in with the release of Titan's new Beatles Yellow Submarine graphic novel. Your display must prominently feature the Beatles Yellow Submarine graphic novel. The best display chosen by Apple Corp wins. Tweet pictures of your Yellow Submarine in-store display to @ComicsTitan on August 8th. Email your pictures directly. Contest ends August 19th. So
There you go.
the creative
Good
people
cracking.
out there, come in the shop on 8th, pick up your copy. You could win $1,000 in Yellow
There you
Submarine
go. Yep.
limited edition
Well,
merchandise.
we might be discussing that after the show.
Yes, we might. Yeah, Dan. That'd be pretty cool.
Right after that, we have The Prisoner #1, and this is based on the old cult TV show.
Yep.
Here's a cool cover here by Mike Howard. I've never seen this. It's one of those things I've always kind of meant to get around to and could just never seem to catch it or find it, so I don't know too much about it.
Oh, the actual TV
Yeah.
series?
TV series, yeah.
It's good. Yeah, vague memory. I remember watching. I don't remember a lot about it, but it was very.
And Jack Kirby and Gil Kane artist edition.
Yeah, following that seems like something to check out. Now, was this stuff that was not published? Is that what the story is here?
No idea. I have
'cause
no
I
clue.
thought I saw online earlier that this was maybe something that was unreleased previously. It says long lost and previously unpublished comic books. So I guess this is new Kirby stuff maybe.
Well,
So that's pretty rare in and of itself there. So if you're a Kirby completist,
there you go. If
Something
you
for you
picked
to
up
get.
if you picked up the if you picked up the checklist last month, well,
Yeah.
now this will be added to it.
Yeah,
so your
so-
checklist is now incomplete.
yeah, add this to your checklist. I don't have anything till 464.
Well, you're for me, so
Okay. On 464, under Yen Press, we have Reborn as a Vending Machine, I Now Wander the Dungeon, Volume 1, which I think is about a man who passes away and is reincarnated as a vending machine. It's a Japanese vending machine, so I'm not exactly sure what this machine is
Yeah,
vending
we may-
necessarily.
Oh, no.
It may be something we don't want to talk about
you
here.
said too much.
But I did hear about this online a little bit, and I think it's yeah, I'm not sure what. I think TP might be a teen rating, so it's not mature, so it's maybe not as bad as it could be.
Could be. Yeah.
Well, I would think TP would be trade paperback because they also
is
have
it?
HC, which would be hardcover.
Well, okay, then I don't know what that's rated then.
No, it
I
says
thought they had a
13
listing.
and up.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. So okay.
Oh, yeah.
So still must not be that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sort of a weird story there. Maybe some
So it probably
odd
is just
anime
sodas.
for you to check out.
He probably vends whatever they need for the story at the time.
There you go.
There's the
I'm
answer.
sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the end of comic books for me, I think.
Yeah, me too. I'm in apparel next. I'm on $4.99. So
Well,
whatever you got before $4.99.
476, the book section. We've got some art books here, and we have a book of Alphonse Mucha artwork, which a lot of people like. And it's only $40, so it's not that bad for an art book. So if you want to check out some of his work. On 478, we have the DC Comics variant cover, Complete Visual History. And now we also have a few, I guess they're calling them Little Book of. And we've got Batman, Avengers. And I think what this is some of the content from the DC Taschen books, sort of broken down into little sections.
Well, they have some for Marvel too. So
Yeah,
there's
so-
like Marvel and DC. You got Avengers, Batman, Captain America, Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I kind of imagined they were like the little big books, like what we had, and is what I was thinking that they were
Yeah.
probably like.
I think this is just taking some of the other stuff and kind of chopping it up a little bit.
Oh,
On 479, we've also got Men of Tomorrow, Geeks, Gangsters of the Birth of Comic Book. This is by Gerard Jones. I'm not sure if you've been following what's been happening with Gerard Jones. I'm probably not going to pick this up, though.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. You
Gotcha.
can Google that for yourself.
I missed this the
I
first
used
time.
to be a fan of his writing. I'm going to pass.
I missed this first time through on 481. They are reprinting the Kirby King of Comics book as a trade paper, or as a, as a soft
nice.
cover, written by Mark Evanier, who worked under Kirby for many, many years. I mentioned Thundar the Barbarian earlier, so Kirby did help with the production artwork for that, and Mark Evanier was a writer on Thundar the Barbarian. So, but this is an excellent history about Kirby. So if you've not read it, also includes a all pencil story called Streetwise, where Jack Kirby kind of pseudo autobiographically relates some of his youth in a pencil format. It's really, really neat to look at. That alone is worth the price of the book, and the soft cover is only $25.
On 482, we have the 75 Years of DC Comics hardcover. When this came out a few years ago, it was a larger, oversized book that was pretty pricey. They've since been splitting this up into smaller books. This version, though, is probably more of a typical hardcover size and is only $70. They have the other sections of the book here for $60 each. So maybe just get the one for
Just get the
$70.
one, yeah.
Right.
It's a good book. I will say I've got the oversized. I like it. It's a little unwieldy.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know.
It's that one's 10 by 14, so it's bigger than the other three.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
yeah.
10 by 14.
It's also 720 pages.
Yeah.
Where the others, I think, are around
400.
400. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's a good book on the history of DC. A lot of cool stuff in there. Definitely worth checking out. Didn't think I'd ever say this, but here we've got something in the card section I want to talk about.
Oh boy.
We've got the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Trading Card Series 1. This was a Kickstarter they did recently, which I didn't participate in this one. But you can get the box of cards for $85, which should include the complete set. They're out there, and then some other chase cards and things in there. That might be. I haven't bought any cards in quite a while, but that might be something I have to pick up. After that, I think we're in the apparel section.
Yeah, I'm on $4.99. So you got
On $4.97, we've got the Batman Utility Belt T-shirt, which kind of features the capsule belt, which is kind of cool. It's kind of the version I was around when I started reading. They haven't done anything with the capsule belt in years, though, so I'm kind of surprised to see it here, but that's kind of neat.
$4.99. They got a couple of I would consider vintage-looking T-shirt. They have one with the
Yeah.
10-cent price
Yeah,
for
that's
comics.
the comics
Yeah, they
code.
go Days Gone By. Then there's also a Comics Code Authority, a couple of T-shirts, white and black as well. So those are kind of nifty to pick up.
Yeah, right above that, we've got a selection of some Batman shirts, and one of them is a yellow silhouette of a bat, but when you turn it upside down, it's a silhouette of Batman. After that, we've kind of got the Geek Chic section here, which is a lot of Black Panther.
Yeah, a lot of Black
it's like-
Panther. What I liked on this page, though, was there is a Punisher, basically like a bowling shirt.
Yes, I saw that
On
too.
page
I really
501.
like that.
Yeah.
Not in my size, but whatevs.
Just a button-up collared Punisher shirt,
Don't want
Punisher
my
logo
money.
on the back. So
Yeah, really nice thing. On 508, we've got the Predator Movie Mini Mates box set. I assume these are all stealth mode Predators because I can't see what's going on here. Just all silhouette blacked out. Can't let me know what's in the set I'm supposed to be buying.
I guess that's based on the new Predator movie.
Yeah,
right? So
which-
we can't.
yeah, they
leak
can't
what
show the
Predator
images
looks
yet.
like.
been a trailer or anything for that yet.
Nope.
On 5/15, we've got some Batman animated series PVC statues. I guess these are all in stock.
Yeah, it
Things
looks
you
like-
can order
yep,
now.
These are all in stock ones. Yep.
I haven't seen many of these. It's kind of a cool Batgirl one where she's sort of colliding into Clayface there.
Clayface
So
is
he's the base.
Yeah, it was
kind of neat.
not out too long ago. Yeah, it came in. We had one in here. So it's a really sharp looking figure.
Yeah, and some Harley Quinn stuff for those of you that just have to have everything
Yep,
Harley
can't
Quinn.
Get enough.
Page 520. Which one are you talking about? You got okay. You go.
I'm going to talk about the Alien Facehugger life-size prop replica. Perfect for any home.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
It's quite the conversation piece. You know, you have a house
Yes.
until you have this. Then you have a home
That's right.
for the low price of $699.95.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, $700.
Just brighten up your home with a
That's it.
facehugger.
Also on 520, I have, I don't know, for some reason, the Rocketeer is just one of the coolest looking characters I've ever seen in my entire life.
yeah.
I don't know what it is about that character. I just love the way he looks. Dave Stephen artwork is just gorgeous, and there is a really cool statue. You got the Rocketeer and Betty flying up. You got the power, you got the backpack working and everything. It looks super cool. It's pricey, $200. Not as pricey as the Facehugger though.
Right. No.
So, but it's hard to not mention the Rocketeer
That's
whenever he
still-
shows up.
It's $200, but I will have one of these in the store.
It
so
is
it's-
awesome.
Have
looking.
they
Great.
shown any other angles of this?
No,
Because you can't see the rocket.
right. Yeah.
And typically there's two
get
versions of the rocket. You get
movement.
the more Dave Stevens comic book version, and then there's the sort of two-jet movie version,
Movie version.
Right.
that you see it. So I'm kind of curious as to which is on this.
Yeah.
I
I've
would
not seen
hope
a
it would be the
turnaround on it.
comic version
Right. I would
myself.
hope
So
so.
yeah, but
Very cool. And then right after that, as Tweeterhead continues to put out what they're calling their superpowers line, and they have a really nice classic looking Superman and Wonder Woman, and that statue, again, pricey, $260, but, that's good quality stuff, so I'll be picking those up as well.
After that, we've got the 112 Collective Justice League Tactical Batman action figure, which is sort of his suit from the end of the Justice League movie. Which, when we were seeing it before the movie, I wasn't too crazy about it.
Right.
But once you get those Night Owl-looking goggles off it, it's a really cool suit. Almost looks like one of the Arkham games.
Right.
So I don't know if the goggles just completely come
Removable.
off of this. But it'd
Yeah,
be
but they're up on
nice.
his forehead here.
Yeah.
They're not covering the eyes, so yeah.
And there's also kind of a cool Jimmy Olsen Mego-style figure wearing the Superman outfit, so that's kind of neat. Sort of a fun old-school kind of thing. On 525, we have some Iron Man 3 diecast figures. Which
Iron
seems
Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the amount of
No.
armors that were in that movie. They just kind of keep cranking them out.
Right.
But Iron Man seems perfect for a diecast figure. These are $130.
Wow.
But if you want a cool
But
diecast Iron Man figure, that's here.
That's still considerably cheaper. If any of you are familiar with Hot Toys,
Yeah.
brand, company, they're top notch. But man, the Iron Mans for the Hot Toy stuff, you can pay $300 for them. $300 to $400, and some of those are die cast as well. I'm sure these aren't as feature laden, and these are 1/12 scale, which will put them about 6-inch figure, whereas the Hot Toys figures are twice that big. They're 6 scale. So
After that, on 526, we've got Marvel Superheroes vintage 6-inch action figures. And it looks like the packaging and the style of these is really like sort of the early 1990s.
Yeah, I would say 90s.
I think it's the first wave of Toy Biz
I'm
Marvel figures from
I'm
back in the day.
insulted that they are referring to those toys as vintage.
get used to it, man.
Man.
Yeah, wait till is your music showing up on classic radio?
Yeah, it's starting to happen. I don't like hearing Nirvana on the oldie station. But again, these were figures I bought as a kid. Actually, there was a subscription offered with them, and I got Amazing Spider-Man subscription through the mail from those figures back in the day. So these are kind of cool versions of that.
I don't have anything till $5.95. So
On 530, we've got the Super Mario Bowser statue, which looks pretty cool. Again, we can only see the one angle. Actually, speaking of one angle, going back to the New Teen Titans #1 statues, on DC's YouTube channel, they have complete turnarounds of every one of the statues.
Oh, really?
They're about 30-second videos where you can view the entire statue. So they must have been listening to us
Yeah, they must have.
and been like, "Oh, let's take care of that."
Yeah, we'll
So
hook
yeah,
those
get
guys
on
up.
get on YouTube if you want to see more
Oh,
of those
good. That's
statues.
a good idea.
Yeah.
More people need to do that.
On 535, we've got Star Wars: The Last Jedi First Order Stormtrooper helmet replica for $225. I think you have to add your own red handprint to that, but that's kind of a nice looking Stormtrooper helmet. On 536, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Looks like this is from the 1990 first movie, where it's the baby turtles from the flashback origin sequence, which I believe were stop motion back in the day. Probably won't pick these up, but it's kind of a
It's
neat
kinda
thing.
cool.
Like I, kind of
Get it.
realized what that was right away. Just growing up with that movie. Next page, we've got the Walking Dead Lucille Like a Champ edition 32-inch bat. Again, another just great conversation piece for your house.
Yeah.
Of a bloody bat with barbed wire on it. Just leave it on a coffee table.
Any
It's
brain
fine.
matter hanging off the bat? I didn't look that
Yeah.
close.
It's a collector's replica. After that, we kind of get into the Funko section.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they got a Rick and Morty snowball, 12-inch plastic galactic plushie. I really wish this had a voice chip in it that could ask where its testicles were. I think that's it for the Funko stuff anyway. On 547, we've got the DC Play Arts Kai Harley Quinn figure, which these are really nice figures. I've never picked one up because they are pricey. But for what you get, I mean, there's so many accessories with this Harley Quinn. I think it basically, you can turn it into another figure, it looks like. So it's Harley Quinn in sort of a nurse outfit, and then her accessories looks like it's more of a, I wouldn't say traditional Harley Quinn, but definitely something that looks closer to Harley Quinn with just sort of like mech kind of components to it. Next page, we've got the Avengers Age of Ultron Iron Man Hulkbuster die-cast figure. It's only $500, Scott.
Only.
Get two.
Yeah.
You
Take
know.
cash.
Pick them up.
Do you take cash here, Mike?
I do.
Okay,
I'd
good.
gladly take it.
Yeah. All right.
In some of the Star Wars section, we've got the Star Wars Elite Praetorian Guard 2-pack, and I think these are the guards from The Last Jedi that they're fighting that I thought were kind of cool. Crimson Guard takeoff designs, so you get like a 2-pack of those there. So you can stage your own battles at home. On 579, we've got Clockwork Orange, Robbie the Robot, and Audrey Hepburn.
Yes.
I'll go lightly.
So it's something for everybody here in
There you
previews.
go.
Mhm, yeah.
And multicolored Robbie the Robot for
Yeah.
some reason. I'm not sure, but
I know they kind of didn't they reuse Robbie for other things too?
Several
Yeah.
things.
Or what,
yeah.
was he ever repainted like
I
that
don't
or anything,
remember.
or is this just
I don't
something
know.
fun to do?
yeah, just
Man,
no
I had a
really idea.
I had a Manor Astro Man hat back in the day with Robbie the Robot on it that I lost.
Huh.
I rue that to this day. Oh, on 581 we have Pulp Fiction Jules and Vincent figures. Again, these are kind of pricier, $200 range figures. But some of Quentin Tarantino's movie merchandise has been kind of controversial in the past and doesn't stick around too long. So if you want these, maybe check them out. And with some of the crazy stuff he's been saying lately, who knows how much more this is coming out.
Yeah.
So get them now if you want them, I suppose. If you're hardcore into Pulp Fiction and have to have them. Where are we at? Oh, on 586, we've got a nice Super Mario figure for $30, which looks like it's pretty articulated for a Mario figure. I think this has been in the catalog before, but it's kind of a cool looking figure. And not too much more pricey than a regular action figure anymore. 592 in the Marvel Heroes section, we've got some Black Panther enamel pins, because the kids love their enamel pins nowadays, with some retro kind of Black Panther designs there. I think they're just waiting on everybody to go see the movie and then come into the store
and
wanna
say,
buy
"See Black Panther," and
everything. After that, we've got Back to the Future stress dolls of Marty and Doc. So if you get stressed out and you just want to squeeze Doc Brown, Have at it.
I think you got $5.95 if you have ever wanted your own Bethla from Star Trek Next Generation for fighting amongst your friends, or to recreate the scene from The Big Bang Theory where it gets stolen from Sheldon. Then now is your chance to pick one up for a mere $350.
I will say, if you ever wanted a good-looking batleth, because I've seen these at conventions before that are handmade, and they don't look as good as this.
Yeah.
So if you want a nice-looking batleth,
Yeah.
definitely pick this
Pick
up.
that one up. So yeah.
Next to that, we also have the Next Generation Communicator Pin Replica Bluetooth speaker. This is $80. This is going to be hard for me to pass up. I'll tell you that right now.
Cool.
Because if I could wear this, because it sounds like I can link this into my phone.
You should, if it's
Is
Bluetooth, you
that
should be able to.
Right? Oh man.
Bluetooth. I mean, at a minimum, it's a Bluetooth speaker. You can play your music out through it. So
If I can touch that and talk to somebody, guys, it's over.
it's on.
It's over.
I mean, how do you pass that
Oh,
up?
that's
I've been
so
on a
cool.
big Star Trek kick lately since I've been sick. Kind of just watching Next Generation again. And
Answer
that is-
and make phone calls like you're the Starship Enterprise. Like you're on.
We just go ahead and put
You down.
Maybe.
Maybe two. Maybe put you down for two.
That's tough.
Answer and
I tell you what,
call,
if you're a
play,
cosplayer,
pause.
if you
That's pretty
cosplay
cool.
Star Trek, how do you not get
Yeah,
that?
no.
Come on, that just sells it.
That's
People think you're from the
crazy.
future.
It chirps as the chirp sound effect.
Oh man,
That is
if
really
I could just
cool.
tap that and answer a phone call,
That's what it says.
and it's hand free, so you
Yeah.
could use that while you're driving.
Driving.
On, off.
Come on.
Oh, answer and call, play, pause, Siri, Google Now. Wow.
Can I call Siri computer with it?
You can probably you can rename
Computer?
it, mate. No, I don't know if you can rename
Can
that
I
one or
call her
not.
computer?
Yeah.
Oh man,
But you could have Siri call you Kirk.
I'd rather she call me Picard.
Or she can call you Picard too.
Yeah.
Or call you Cisco.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Page 603. Got a Stranger Things Eggo card game. I don't know what that's going to be about.
Yeah, what does that?
But
about
11
do?
likes her Eggos, so that's all you
Yeah.
probably need to know if you're a Stranger Things fan. And then there's several other on the next page on 604, several other Stranger Things related board games, including a Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've washed yours in the closet,
Yeah.
there's your chance to pick
summon
one
the dark arts. Stranger Things.
for
I do
Yep.
like the design on the Ouija board where it looks like the Christmas light, letter pattern that was on the wall. So that's kind of a fun idea.
On page 605, for those of you who are into miniatures, they have this. These are like scenes from the Woodbury houses and such for Walking Dead. But you can buy these houses individually and use them for other miniature sets up. So something to think about.
I think that's it for
And
me.
that is it for
Is that a
me.
wrap?
That is it for me too. So
All right. Well, there you have just a sampling of the merchandise, books, and other things that are available from the previous catalog for February.
I take that back. We did completely blew over in Valiant. Not that there was any book worth talking about
yeah.
in Valiant, but the fact that the Valiant universe has been purchased. I saw this on Matt Martin's feed, and it doesn't sound real hopeful for Valiant to
Right,
me
no.
because they have a director who's really not directed a whole lot of stuff that's going to be taking over that, going to be owning that universe. So, so those of you who are Valiant fans, you might want to pay close attention to what's going on
Happening
with
because
that.
I know Dinesh, I'm not sure of the last name, but I know it didn't sound like he was with part of the deal, and I know that's a lot of the reason people got back into Valiant was that he was part of it. This guy was part of it. I'm not familiar with Valiant enough to speak knowledgeably about it.
Me neither, but
But-
I thought that was relatively big news.
Yeah,
From
because technically they do have the third largest superhero universe
Right,
in print,
right.
after Marvel and DC, of course. But, so I know there are fans of that.
Yeah.
But doesn't sound hopeful to me.
and they've always historically had pretty, solid creators
Yes.
working on their books.
They
So
always got prime
yeah.
talent, that's for sure. For sure. So, that was an oversight. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be like a larger movie deal too, right? Like
They've
there's
been
a bunch of-
talking
they
about
keep bringing
stuff,
that up.
yeah.
and-
And then it kind of went,
It went to like a web series for
series
like
and-
for some of them. So
right. So that is something to watch for those of you that do follow that. But again, if that's that, then we'll just call it a wrap for this episode of Campus Comics Cast for the February 2018 catalog previews, with product mostly shipping in what would it be, April of this year. So come in, pick up your own copy. and see other stuff. Because again, we don't touch on a fraction of what's in this book every month. There's so much stuff. So just any of this sounds interesting, or you just want to see what else is out there, come in and pick one up. Come and get one here at Campus Comics. We're at 816 East Main Street, Suite B, right between Mike's Music and Plaza Records. Right on Main Street, hard to miss us. So come check us out. Give me a call at 618-457-6011. Give the Facebook page a like. Message me through there, and we'll get back to you.
All right, Scott Reed, Burg Comics, B-U-R-G, C-O-M-I-C-S. Best place to look right now is on Facebook, starting to post information about a convention we're going to have going on in Harrisburg, Illinois in August. Announce featured guests already, so if you're in this area and want to be, stay in the know on what's going to be happening with that, that's the best place to find me.
Dan Brown, if you want to find me online, I'm at Detective651 on Twitter, DeviantArt, and my WordPress, which I will be updating. I know I said that before, but I've been sick.
Promises.
Chill out. You ain't paying nothing for it.
All right. Well, if that does it, gentlemen, we will call this a wrap, and we'll talk to you next month.